Right now at 5, a family opening up 5 months after a Memorial High grad's death.
We just feel like a big hole has been ripped out of us by the loss of Nicky.
His death linked to a hazing incident involving a UT Spirit group.
Did your parents know? Did your daughter know?
Dozens of parents in court accused in that massive college admission scandal. And we're just a few hours away from the Cougars versus the Wildcats.
Bring on the madness. I'm Matt Musel here in Kansas City, where the Cougars will play tonight for a chance to go to the Elite Eight.
The news starts now. And we're starting with breaking news. Harris County prosecutors have dropped more cases linked to embattled Houston police officer Gerald Goins. The veteran narcotics officer is accused of lying about a no-knock search warrant that led to a deadly Harding Street raid back in January.
Prosecutors have been reviewing his other drug cases today. They dropped 2 cocaine charges against Roy Willis. A district attorney spokesman said the ongoing investigation of Goins prevents them from moving forward to trial. The charges may be refiled at a later time. Now to our exclusive interview with a Houston family whose son died in a crash after leaving a retreat for the UT Spirit group called the Texas Cowboys. Earlier this week, the school suspended the Texas Cowboys for 6 years, saying they engaged in a dangerous tradition of hazing. Jessica Borg spoke with the family of Nicky Cumberland.
Just miss him so much that we're in tears 5 or 6 times a day.
Sean Cumberland says his 20-year-old son, Nicky, was a bright light in everyone's lives.
Nicky was a very rare, special human being.
The family buried him in October. He died after a car crash on the way back from an initiation retreat held by the Texas Cowboys, a student spirit team at UT. This week, the school suspended the Cowboys for 6 years, saying their investigation showed that hazing had occurred during the fall of 2018, as well as previous semesters.
Paddling, excessive drinking, and staying up late, doing all these activities.
The driver of the car Nicky was in fell asleep behind the wheel, leading it to roll over. Nicky's family says sleep deprivation was in fact part of the hazing. Nicky was a triple major in business, finance, and radio, TV, and film. He was known for taking on leadership roles and was valedictorian here at Memorial High School. In a statement, the Texas Cowboys said it was disappointed by the university's decision to suspend them, claiming the group had already suspended or expelled students involved in hazing that weekend. It denies sleep deprivation was ever enforced and that hazing is a widespread problem. Nicky's dad says it is.
This is a systemic organizational problem.
Sean Cumberland says he's worried hazing will continue once the group is reinstated 6 years from now. He says UT did make the Cowboys promise to never ban new members from having their cell phones, a reform Cumberland himself suggested.
I think the decision to suspend is the right one. I'm afraid they didn't implement enough tough changes on the organization.
Right now, the family is on a mission to eliminate hazing on college campuses.
I think this could have been avoided.
A mission that brings them peace after their devastating loss. Jessica Borg, KHOU 11 News.
The final sanction for the Cowboys will be decided once the organization decides whether to accept the suspension, appeal it, or request a formal hearing. The group has until April 10th to make that decision. You can read much more about this case. It's all on our website. We also have the tribute video made for Nicky Cumberland on KHOU.com.
More than a dozen parents charged in that massive college admissions scandal made their first court appearance in Boston today. In all, 33 parents, including actresses Felicity Huffman and Lori Loughlin, have been arrested. Mark Liverman has more on what happened in court today.
One after another, 15 parents accused of gaming the system in the largest college admissions scandal walked into a federal court in Boston to be arraigned on conspiracy charges.
Think about this whole case. Did your parents know? Did your daughter know?
Prosecutors say 33 suspects paid hundreds of thousands of dollars to rig test scores and bribe coaches to get their children into elite colleges. Actresses Felicity Huffman and Lori Loughlin are among those charged. Investigators say Rick Singer was the alleged mastermind behind the scheme. Singer, along with former Stanford University sailing coach John Vandemore and former Yale soccer coach Rudy Meredith, have all pleaded guilty to pocketing hundreds of thousands of dollars in bribes from parents.
It's clear by all of this that we need reform.
In the wake of the scandal, California lawmakers have proposed sweeping college reforms, including requiring 3 college administrators to sign off on special admissions and banning special treatment for children of donors or alumni.
We want to make sure that hard work is rewarded. You shouldn't just get rewarded because of what family you're born into. You should get rewarded for how hard you study.
Huffman and Laughlin have not spoken out about the allegations. Both are scheduled to appear in court next week. Mark Liverman, CBS News, New York.
Parents of Santa Fe High School shooting victims met privately with Sandy Hook mothers this week. Those mothers helped organize a first-of-its-kind summit being held here in Houston.
They, of course, are working to keep schools safe. Here's Jason Miles.
The summit just wrapped up for the day, but it continues tomorrow and includes hundreds of educators and others from around the country. The event is organized by Region 4 Education Service Center here in Houston, Crime Stoppers, and Safe and Sound Schools. That last organization was founded by the mothers of 2 Sandy Hook massacre victims. We sat down with Michelle Gay and Alyssa Parker to talk about their mission since the deaths of their daughters, comprehensive school safety. Here's what they had to say about sharing time with the families of Santa Fe High School victims.
I would hope that each and every one of those families finds a way to hold on to their loved one in a really meaningful, positive way.
There is this instant shorthand between us. I think we understand to a level that no one else can.
In addition to educators, police officers, first responders, and counselors are also part of this conference, a national event organizers plan to hold annually. It is not open to the public, but you can find out more information about it and hear more from those Sandy Hook mothers on KHOU.com. Reporting from Northwest Houston, Jason Miles, KHOU 11 News.
President Trump is threatening to close the southern border, or at least large parts of it, next week. He says it'll happen if Mexico doesn't immediately stop all illegal immigration into the U.S. Mexican authorities are bracing for another large caravan of migrants from Central America hoping to reach the U.S. border. More than 75,000 migrants were detained last month. That is the most in 12 years.
Let's talk some weather. Why not? It has warmed up nicely outside. A feel-good kind of Friday out there, but tomorrow's going to bring big changes to the weather.
David, you warned us about rain tomorrow. What about the temperatures?
Oh, they're going to plunge. I mean, we're going to go back into winter by Sunday, Monday as well. It's going to be quite cold. Amity Bank weather book, gorgeous afternoon. Every now and then the camera jiggles a bit. There's a pretty good breeze outside. 76 at Bush, Tomball 78. Brenham is warmed back up to 80. They were at 79 last hour. Pearland is 76. It's beautiful. Have an extra long walk. Have a nice date night tonight. Lovely breezy evening. You do not need a jacket. We get Saturday afternoon rain, maybe a thunderstorm. That'll be the cold front coming in, and it will be much colder on Sunday. I will show you exactly what it means for temperatures and winds and rain chances and the timing on all that coming up in just a few minutes.
So bundle up. Thanks, David. The trial is underway for the teenager accused of murdering his parents inside a Southwest Houston home some 3 years ago. Antonio Armstrong Jr. was 16 when prosecutors say he shot and killed former Texas A&M linebacker and NFL player Antonio Armstrong Sr. and Dawn Armstrong. Adam Bennett spent hours in the courtroom today. Adam, this case has drawn headlines around the country. What happened?
It sure has, Lynn. You know, about a quarter of this very diverse panel of 120 prospective jurors told the judge that they had seen this case before on the news. Meanwhile, prosecutors told this panel that jury selection is arguably the most important day of a trial. This trial, the judge said, could last up to a month. Now, the judge is not allowing cameras in the courtroom during this phase of the trial. Beforehand, neither Armstrong nor his family wanted to make a statement, but once inside, the 19-year-old was attentive and took notes as prosecutors asked the panel extensive questions, mainly about how much certainty of guilt they would need to convict, including without a motive or with circumstantial evidence. Prosecutors say Armstrong shot his parents in their bedroom the morning of July 29, 2016. But the 19-year-old blames an intruder. His lawyers accuse the DA's office of withholding evidence for 18 months. That evidence is reportedly an audio recording from a woman regarding death threats against Armstrong's father, Antonio. Now, these 120 potential jurors will be whittled down to 14, 12 main jurors and then 2 alternate. Now, because of Armstrong's age, a conviction would mean an automatic life sentence with parole only possible after 40 years. Reporting live downtown, Adam Bennett, KHOU 11 News.
You could soon start seeing more dogs in federal courtrooms. This would allow victim support animals to help comfort witnesses. These dogs are specially trained to keep calm and not interrupt court cases. Senator John Cornyn is behind the bill. He explained today who it's meant to help.
Victims of sexual assault and children in particular who need to know that they are safe and they can testify in the most difficult circumstances.
The dogs would not be required in courtrooms if the bill passes, but federal judges would be able to allow them in. That's if they want to.
Countdown to March Madness tonight. The Cougars men's basketball team taking on Kentucky in Kansas City. Matt Musil, he's there. He'll have a preview.
Plus, from college basketball to college football, student athletes are always taking steps to prevent injuries. And doctors say esports athletes at universities need the same attention.
Really? And after passengers were stranded when WOW Airlines went bankrupt, we've got some advice all of us can use.